Ta-da. As of now, this session is being recorded, and welcome all. I hope you are safe and sound. I hope you are not wandering out anywhere and staying home or wherever you are. It's been a week. It's been a long week, and it's been a busy week. So the university is or has set up and is finishing setting up the infrastructure for mass online teaching. You know that Zoom has a 40-minute limit and a 100 people limit for the basic service. The university is buying the fancy service, so we're not going to be limited in time and the number of people. But currently, for this session, that's not what we're using. So some people, and it's really touching, we already have 100 people and people waiting in the waiting room. So thank you very much for the very high turnout on a Saturday afternoon. Let me give you a brief introduction to how things will work, okay? The key thing here is to remember that things will work bumpy at the get-go, right? I'll make mistakes, the technology will fail every now and then, you'll make mistakes, it's all right. We're going to do things in goodwill. Now, the department met yesterday, and we decided that as the department, we're not going to use the FZ grade this semester. FZ is there to give you the right incentive to participate in the class. But at this time, it's just not going to work the way we intended to work. So, if you panic about uploading your homeworks, whatever, at least for FZ purposes, do not. And if anyone has already managed to qualify for the FZ, this is going to work retroactively as well. We are not going to use FZ this semester, period. Zoom is actually fairly well designed software. It works well, but it's not quite designed to enable things to work the way we do things in the auditorium, okay? You know that I know that Burçin Hoca teaches in an interactive way. We walk around, right? Come near you, ask you a question, try to elicit an answer, whatever. We'll try to do things in a semi-interactive way again, but it's not going to work as well, especially at the beginning. So be prepared to just be on the receiving end. Now, what I would like for you to do is to participate nonetheless. But with more than 100 people in our sessions, okay, we won't see you raising your hand. We won't see you signaling something on your computer, all right? So just unmute yourselves and speak, all right? So I see, for example, here, Selin Hanım. Just say something, will you?
I'm Ilgin Sanatuluk and I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I can see you. This is exactly what I wanted, okay? So this you can do. On the side, there is a chat button, okay? So below your screens, you see chat. Click that if you haven't already, and it's going to show you the chat, right? And someone here helpfully has said there is a raise hand feature. There really is. But among 100 people, I will not see it properly, especially not when I'm teaching, okay? So don't count on me to see you raising your hand. Just join in and say, I didn't get this, or wait, you said this, but last lecture you had said that. How can both be true, or whatever, all right? Share screen, if I can, I will disable I will disable this feature for you, right? But in general, remember this. We are not used to teaching this way. We're not used to learning this way. And this could cause some embarrassment, okay? If it causes embarrassment for me, that's fine. I'm used to embarrassing myself. But remember that, when you turn your camera on, you will be seen. And these will be recorded. They will be on the internet. And essentially, Zoom works through an internet link. Anyone can click on that link. So there is no guarantee that people here are just going to be students and certainly no guarantee that people who watch afterwards are just going to be students. Okay? We're going to be out there. That you should remember. Meaning, you know, if you're going to wear your funny t-shirt, if you don't want to be seen in that, don't wear it. Okay? Because by mistake, you may turn on your video and say something and, you know, end up being seen by all. If you're going to share your screen, be very careful. Make sure that, you know, nothing you don't want seen is in your desktop. Nothing you don't want seen is the titles of the folders that you have on your desktop. If you're going to turn on your screen share, and this you shouldn't have to, at least not for this class, but in general, you know, say you turned on your web browser and you're writing an address and you have autocorrect on, or right? So it's filling in from your history. Make sure that your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever doesn't show up there, for example, right? Unless you really want that to happen. Again, these are uncharted waters for all of us, and we'll have to learn very quickly, and we'll have to learn truly on the job. So it will happen. Now, this is going to be more lecture heavy in the lectures compared to what we have been doing. Again, it's harder to do this, but let's give it a try, okay? Let's give it a try. I will ask a question and let's see if somebody chimes in. So currently, GDP is falling everywhere. It is clear. We haven't seen the measurement for GDP yet, but it's clear that production has stopped in a lot of places for a lot of sectors, all right? Does this mean that incomes have to fall as well? Any takers here? It would break my heart if I don't get an answer to this one. And in such cases, very good. I see the answer on the discussion, on the chat, but would you please unmute yourself and talk? Say it.
Yes, because GDP by income is the same thing as GDP by production.
Exactly right, by definition, right? It has to be. Very good. Now, somebody has typed a question. I will get to this, but let's do it now. Notice that we were able to do this. I asked a question. As usual, nobody volunteered an answer to a basic question, okay? And as usual, when somebody gave an answer, it was a reasonable answer, okay? Sometimes you give stupid answers, that's fine. Sometimes I give stupid answers. And in fact, many times I ask stupid questions. We haven't changed, all right? But let's try to keep this going. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for you to, you know, stare at a student to stare at a screen for an hour or longer and keep focused there, all right? And notice that this is not your only class. Your classes are classes. Here are some things. One, class hours are the same, okay? And if any professor in any department, any course says, let's reschedule these, you know, no point in meeting at whatever, 8:30 in the morning, let's do this in the afternoon, whatever, okay? Just say no. And if you can't prevail, let me know. The university is adamant that class hours don't change because your schedules are now non-conflicting schedules. Once we begin to change the hours, it's going to be a huge mess, and there's no way of doing this by keeping, you know, while keeping your schedules non-conflicting, okay? So class hours are the same. Immediately, the obvious question was asked, what about the midterms and the quizzes and whatever, okay? I don't know yet. We'll get there. Do remember that the key here is goodwill. We have your best interest in mind. We want you to learn. And the whole point for you to come to a university, and especially to this university, was that you wanted to learn. You wanted to learn about yourselves. You wanted to learn about the world. You wanted to be in this intellectual community. The first priority is to keep that going, okay? So for example, you see all around you, central banks are doing things. What is it that they are doing? Why are they doing these things, okay? Next week, we're gonna talk about that, some. Burçin Hoca is going to talk more about those things afterwards. But the primary aim is to keep the education ongoing. Remember that in the very first lecture, I told you there is no teaching, there is only learning. That's especially true now. It really is up to your effort that you will actually wake up in the morning, be by your computer at the class time, pay attention rather than just signing in and watching a movie on the side, whatever, okay? We never enforced attendance. We can't now, and we will not. But it's really up to you to spend the effort to keep being students. We have quite a lot of weeks left, and it seems unlikely to me that you're going to be back on campus this semester. This will be the way we're going to do courses, and this will be the way you learn. So make sure that quickly you get into the mindset that you remain students. The week is the work week. You will have homeworks. For this class, they're going to work just fine because homeworks were submitted online already. So we're going to keep on doing this. We're going to do the quizzes somehow. Either we're going to do quizzes in recitation hours where your TAs look over you because you're going to be smaller in the recitation hours, or we're going to turn them into take-home quizzes or something, okay? And Burçin Hoca and I and all the TAs, everyone involved in teaching this class, it's a huge operation, you know. We are very open to your feedback. We are very open to your suggestions, all right? Let's see. Whatever, friend of mine, director. Okay, look, any answers you get about midterms, finals, whatever, okay, they are irrelevant now. Until we figure out what is happening with the pandemic, at what rate it's going to die out, okay, whether there is a way of bringing you to campus at some point this semester, okay, we can't answer these questions. There is no way of doing that. I can just tell you that we'll do things in goodwill. Some of you are now freaking out, right? If it's possible to bring us back to campus for the finals, for the midterms, whatever, I have returned to my home country, and my country might not let me fly out because things might be under control in Turkey, but maybe here at home, I will still be under quarantine. What do I do then, okay? We'll deal with these things. I don't know the answers, but take my word. I have, Burçin Hoca has, the whole 102 teaching staff has, the whole department, the whole university has your best interest in mind, okay? Although I don't know the answers, I know that we are not out there to punish you, okay? It's bad enough that you are not here on campus. It's bad enough you're not where you belong. We're not going to make this any worse. We'll do our best, all right? For most of you, what is our best? For a great majority of you, our best will be very good. For some of you, because of your special circumstances, something will not work out. We'll work with you individually, all right? Just take it easy for the moment. All right. Now, we're going to be using email more. I will email you more things about class mechanics. I will email you more readings. I will email you more, clippings, whatever, questions to keep you in the student mood. Make sure that, one, you're following your email, and two, make sure that the emails from Bayis and Dais do not go to your spam, okay? Do make sure to receive those emails. Other than that, I don't have much. So let me tell you a couple of things the way I would in class beginning Monday and see whether this is working out, okay? So here's me, here's the board. Notice that on a blackboard, my writing is not going to be any better than on a whiteboard. So if you're going to complain about that, I don't have much to do. But if the contrast isn't good enough, if I should be writing larger, whatever, do let me know. So remember what we had done, right? We talked about measurement. And measurement was the measurement of quantity, that was the GDP. Then the measurement of prices, that was the price level and inflation and the consumer price index, right? Then we talked about the labor market, labor force participation, who is in the labor force, who is out of the labor force, who is unemployed, who is employed, what the unemployment rate is, It's a rate of what to what, right? Who are the people outside the labor force, what they do. It's important that you know these things as concepts and you know the numbers that go with them. The labor market, for example, now is, in a very morbid way, fascinating. Right? When you look at initial unemployment claims, those numbers are going through the roof in the US. The Turkish numbers aren't that current. The US has weekly initial claims numbers. These are the people who are claiming unemployment insurance for the first time, hence the initial claims. That number is now skyrocketing. On Friday, the state of Ohio announced that the number that was 5,000 the week before was 140,000 last week, okay? So those are staggering increases. And for you to understand these things, you will have to understand what the language is. So hopefully by now, you do already. Then we talked about growth. In growth, we talked about the long-term trend and the potential without using that concept yet. But the thinking was, what happens to the productive capacity of an economy over long periods of time? That's an important concern now, right? Because GDP is clearly falling everywhere. But are we also losing productive capacity? It's worth thinking. Should we think of this as a cyclical problem, or should we think of this as a trend problem? That is important, right? And it's an interesting question for us to think of. Then we talked about short-term GDP determination in the simplest case, right? In a world where there are no prices, in a world where whatever you want to buy is produced, and the question is how much will be produced, right? We found equilibrium GDP. Most of the rest of the semester will be you working with Burçin Hoca, refining this thinking to worlds where producers can say, wait, I'm not going to produce this much at those prices, what now, all right? But even that simple model gave us the idea of a multiplier. And now that multiplier idea is very important because we'll want to think of economic policy. Now that the world is shrinking, right? What kind of economic policies can we think of? That will be important. Currently, obviously, what is really important is the health policy, okay? But this being an economics class and us being economists, we will talk about the economics of this. Then we began to talk about money. We talked about what money does, why it exists, what functions it serves. We talked about the history of money, and we got to the current monetary system of fiat money, right? These are unbacked money that we're using everywhere. Fine. Now, what we want to talk about is money, bonds, interest, and monetary policy. So these are coming on Monday. Okay, now chime in. Can you read? Good, good. All right. I'll get this computer closer to me so that I can read too. Thank you. Okay, I have seen sufficient yeses, and I believe you. Okay, yep, fine, very good. It happens. Very good. Fine. So we'll try. Some things will work, some things won't work. Feel free to say what isn't working in real time or email afterwards. But these are what I have in mind, okay? So any questions? Yes. Somebody is unmuted, so somebody is mumbling.
Benim cüzdanım var şuradan kampın içinde. Benim içinde.
All right. I should be able to mute you all again, but I can't. Why not? I will learn to use this better too. Yes, there is a microphone up. And whose microphone is that? Hopefully, I should be able to see this, but I forgot where to see it. Okay, yep. There we go. Now I muted you. Hocam, ayıp ediyorsunuz bak. Arkadaşlarınızı ispiyonlamayın böyle. Yes, somebody whose name is clear to us all now unmuted themselves. It happens. Here's an important thing, and this is something that you should know. You can unmute yourself briefly by pressing the spacebar, okay? Use that feature. That is, when you're going to say something, press the spacebar, talk, and then let the spacebar go, you'll be muted again. It's much better than unmuting yourself, talking, and then muting yourself again, which many of us will likely forget, all right? Cool. Once again, any questions? All right, I will send you an email about more or less what we talked here, how things will work. And once again, thank you very much for your understanding, okay? You know, when you came here as students, this isn't what you signed up for. Obviously, when we came here as professors, this isn't what we signed up for either. But this is an external shock to all of us, and we're trying to do our best collectively in these circumstances. And we're lucky that the university has the infrastructure and the will to keep education going. We'll do our best, all right? Whenever our best isn't good enough, let us know. Whenever your best isn't good enough, we will let you know, all right? The FZ thing. Yes, the FZ thing is no FZ. This semester, we are not going to use the FZ grade, all right? This is true for Econ 102. This is true for all Econ coded courses. It's a department decision, all right? Let me be very clear. It's not true university-wide. The Econ department said, we don't think we can administer the FZ in the way it's intended, so we're just not going to use it. And since we're not going to use it from here on, we're going to make this retroactive. So any students who would have received FZ by what they haven't done already, okay, they're not going to get FZ either. You can still get an F. You're more than welcome to do so, okay? But we're not going to use FZ because we're going to use the online system all the time. And you know, even with homeworks, every now and then somebody has a mishap, can't upload the homework on time, whatever, okay? So we're not going to make your grades conditional on having a good internet connection. That's the point, all right? People in the waiting room, okay. Again, we're using the limited version of Zoom now. The university is or has received the license for the unlimited version, but only for today, this lecture, we are limited by 100 people, okay? So I'm gonna make this recording available, and I will send an email with the link so that people can watch what we talked about, all right? For the actual class, that won't be a problem. The BCC is working on tying Zoom into the AIR system, so things will work fairly seamlessly once we figure out how to work it, all right? So especially in the first week, it's going to be bumpy because you don't know how to do this, we don't know how to do this. We'll make mistakes. We'll figure it out, all right? Recitations. Your recitations are not going to take place this week, but they will take place starting next week, all right? And just like coming to class through Zoom, you're going to go to recitation through Zoom, and things work well. Your TAs may choose to share their screens and show things, but you can talk. We had a department meeting with 25 people, more or less, yesterday. It worked very well. Your sections are smaller than that, so your sections are going to work just fine as well, all right? Once again, you'll have to get used to it. You will get used to it. What else? I had one more thing in mind. Office hours. I will keep my office hours at their usual times. Mondays, noon to 1 o'clock, I will have a Zoom connection. I will send you the link, and you can come in and talk to me and ask whatever you want to ask or complain about whatever you want to complain about, okay? So the whole aim is to keep the schedules and the way we interact as close as possible to the way we used to do it, okay? We're lucky that this didn't happen at the beginning of the semester because we have our routine set up. We know each other already. We know how things work. I know the way you like to be taught. You know the way I do things, and it's going to work out, okay? I'm going to try to stick to the semester rhythm of things as much as possible. Anything else? Is downloading the application necessary? So however you are connecting now, Mehmet Bey, keep doing that. Apparently you are here now, and that's all you need. So you're good. Okay? You can do this with your cell phones. Zoom is also a cell phone app. And although I need my computer for various things, all you need is your cell phone. All right? So if you are going to connect via your cell phones, just fine. It's all right. Okay? The lectures, we will upload the lectures somewhere. I don't know whether there's going to be a university-wide central place, but I will upload them to my YouTube page, okay, and send you the link. So you will be able to watch. However, unless you absolutely have to, do not go down that route, okay? That is, I expect you to be in class at lecture hours. Be there, learn there, you know, have your pen and pencil ready, take notes, be in class, okay? Because the moment you take the route of, oh yes, these are going to be available after class, so I'm going to watch in my pajamas at nighttime, okay? Remember that this is only one of many classes you're taking. Every one of them will be this way, okay? And you're going to get lost and, you know, irretrievably lost very quickly. So make sure that you go to class, all right? But yes, if for some reason your internet connection doesn't work, something happens, whatever, okay? The sessions will be available offline afterwards too, or rather online afterwards too. All right? Good. I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to send you an email summarizing the mechanical points of how things are going to work. And I will see many of you on Monday and many of you on Tuesday. All right? Thank you very much. And thank you, sincerely thank you so very much for your interest in being here and trying this on a Saturday afternoon, and for your goodwill that you have many ways of showing. I find it touching, all right? I really do. Love you all. Take care. Be well, and we'll be in touch. Goodbye.